So, Alex, tell me about your project and cooperation with CTU in Prague.
Yeah, first, I'm really happy to be in Prague. It's my first experience here, and I realized how amazing this city is. First, I didn't expect for the city to have so much greenery, and it's like nature is integrated everywhere, like in the streets, and you get to see the same pavement in every street from the very first of the city till the end. So it all has the same. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy to give a lecture for Inspirelli. And this is like, I think this is like a really amazing event, and I'm really proud to be here.
And what about your future?
Which project exactly?
What kind? Lego.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was really interested in the idea that even kids and students and even like architects that really have a huge body of experience, they get to work with the workshop. They get to do the workshop. They get to, sort of design some really interesting things. And you can see that Lego has the ability, and it allows, like explicitly allows these people to actually expose the best in a very subtle and very interesting way that makes it really substantial. It's explicitly amazing, really. So the fact that how they can just assemble like small elements together to give like amazing shape, you can realize that these small particles that is generating like infinite number of amazing shapes from different kinds. They make some people making towers, some making like walking cities. So that's really phenomenal, and it's like it's the first time that ever since I studied architecture that I've seen such an event or such a intervention. The fact that Carel really it was very hard for him in the beginning to get to convince Lego to do such thing, but then this year they accepted, and it was really paying off. So if you get to see the results of the projects, I was just turning around small kids and students. Yes, they were like. They were doing some really extraordinary shapes and designs, and they even think of the functionality. They tell you, I'm going to create like a glass tower here. I'm going to create like a window there. I want to, for example, do a structural element because this one is going to fall. So they think architecture through these Lego elements that are made for kids. And then you can realize, today I just saw that how amazingly kids interact with these Lego elements, and they actually get to design some architectural buildings with these elements. I just saw a young boy who's like 7 years old. He did something like, oh my God! I mean, like you would never expect, or you would never believe that this little boy came up with this beautiful. He made a tower. I mean, that's really amazing. I think that Lego is one of the most interesting events I've ever seen in my life.
And why only two colors? White
and the glass. Yes, because I think that, for example, in my case, in my project, I use only two colors, the white and the glass, because you don't need any more extra colors, because the extra colors, really, it will be like very sort of like standing in the way of designing the good image. So in standing in the way of you, it's having this final output of final shape, or how you play with the shades. If you like working with one color, whenever I work with one color, which is white, and then I just add some suns and just see how does it really work with the shades. This is how I design my project. So I think Lego really proved that with two colors, with the glass and the white, was sort of enough for it to have like amazingly infinite number of amazing shapes. So I'm very reluctant to the idea that we should always like put a lot of materials, we put a lot of colors whatsoever. And I think that I still believe in what Mies says, that less is more. Really, I think that I really agree with the idea that purity is really substantial. Purity is really, very inciting. So you can make amazing stuff with it. You don't need more. You don't need colors. You only need 1, 2, 3, 4 shapes.
Only imagination. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. In music, you only have from like A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, you only have these keys. And with these keys, it's like the genetic structure. You can generate like infinity of music. You can generate really many rhythms, many compositions. So in the world of composition is not only about architecture. If you look at all arts, if you look at music, if you look at paintings and everything, you only, for example, need these colors, and with these colors you can make like really incredible things. So the same thing, you only need like 3-4 shapes: one circular, one rectangular, one small, and something glass. And I think by like duplicating and replicating all these elements together, you can have this amazing output with variety of forms, and it's just like a genetics. So if you take a look at people, they're all different. There's nobody looks the same as the other. Why? Because it's the genetic game that if you change one part, if you change one number of a gene, it changes everything. So same in architecture. If you change maybe one element from a Lego, it gives you another dimension. It gives you another. It's really amazing, you know. Yes. Well, I am from Lebanon. I actually seen a lot of bad scenes, as you can say. We kind of passed through some bad conditions, and we faced like more than 2 million refugees, and it really affected everything. It affected the economy, and it was like one third of our population. So this triggered me actually to start during my senior project to start building this mission, this project of a lifetime. That I'm sure about it, that each year and every year I discover and I disclose more and more things and more information and more data and more materials from nature that can be really coherent and compatible with what I'm doing. So coherence is vital, it's pompous for this kind of problem. So I'm interested in the idea of architecture not only being as this final shape or form, because I think that eventually we reached really very high technology that computers are able, through coding, through scripting, you can make incredible forms. It's really okay. It's part of it. Maybe it's part of it, but it's not just everything. I think that it has another deep dimension that everybody just forget about it. They forget about the fact that it's for everyone. It's for every single human being, and everything changes. I changed. I remember myself 5 years ago. I change every year. Everything around me change. So I would like to see after 10 or 15 years, I would like to compare my notes and see how I change, and try to look at the projects that are going on right now under construction to see them build and how they interact with people, and how architecture really has the ability. Even in the studio sets, when I just watched the first episode of the new design I made for La Hono Best season 5, I just saw how the host was really like swirling around the studio and just open up his hands and is really being so happy. This is my world. So really you see how architecture has the power to make people happy. And I'm really interested in making people happy, because I think that's what architecture is all about. So whenever you do something and it affects people and makes them happy, I think that makes you happy. That makes you more interested in your work, and you fall in love with what you're doing.
So next year.
Okay. Thanks for you. Okay. All right.